So you on your way in picked up a packet. That is your review for your constructed response portion of your final exam. I've not talked to you officially yet about finals and how they're structured, so that's what we're going to do today. But just like how your other tests are, you have two parts of your final. The first one you will take on Tuesday, December 17th. So not tomorrow. Tomorrow you're doing your Unit 4 test. But week after that, during finals week on Tuesday, you are going to do your constructed response portion of your final. It's a normal school day, so you might not have finals in all your classes that day. For me, you will have a final. It looks just like what you see in front of you, but of course we always change the graphs, the info, the numbers. So it's still the same skills. You can condense everything you learned this semester just down to what you see in that packet. But yeah, before I get into a bit more about that, let me just tell you that up to the end of the year, like everything that we've been doing so far is just 90% of your grade. So the assessments, projects, homework, that all equals 90% of your grade. The other 10% of your grade comes from your final exams. So it can impact your grade about a letter, like either higher or lower, but it kind of just depends on if you do better or worse on it than how you're doing in the class. So like if you, I don't know, have a 79% and you're trying to get to a B, you probably won't get a B unless you do significantly better than 79% on your final exam. Like it has to be better than how you're doing right now if it's going to increase your grade. So let me just show you something so you could kind of like manage your expectations. So I could also teach you the math of it, but like this, you could just kind of plug in and play around with numbers. I just Googled final exam calculator, first thing that popped up. There's lots out there. This one is the one that I typically use. So say that you are at a 58%. So your current grade, the 90% of your grade that you have right now, say it's at a 58%. And you'd want to, I'd hope, at least pass the class. So that would be a 59.45 would automatically round up to a D. If it's a 59.44, that's a F. So I don't plan on bumping any grades that are close because of all my classes, I have 5 kids that are failing. That's it, which is really unusual for an algebra class for ninth grade. Like, I only have 5 kids that are failing out of all my classes. Two of those are special situations. One of them probably will end up passing unless he just bombs tomorrow's test and the final. But yeah, so let's say that this person has a 58%, they want to at least pass. The final exam is worth 10% of your grade. This will tell you what you need on the final to keep whatever grade you have or to get whatever grade you want. So this random situation, the kid would have to get about a 73% on the final in order to pass. Now, do you think that someone who like has a 58% can get a 70%? Is that possible, Miss Medina? Not right now. I have a fourth hour. Yeah, no problem. It's fine. Okay, anyway, it is possible. Do you think it's likely? Maybe a little unlikely. So that student that I just made like a random situation about, would probably be better off doing more to get his current grade up than just hoping that the final will do that for him. So yeah, I mean, it is possible, but it is pretty hard to get good grades on your finals. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to remember what you did over the course of an entire semester. So there is still a chance. Like tomorrow we are doing our Unit 4 tests. That's 150 assessment points. If that kid really like studied and did well on the unit tests, then I would see no problem with him being able to pass. But again, that all depends on you. At this point, the deadline has passed for any late work. All that you can do are your study guides, like your Unit 4 study guides, and IXL skills. There is no other homework classwork that will bring your grade up, because the deadlines are already passed. And for one, a lot of the stuff that you guys asked me to open up wouldn't help your grade that much anyway. I had to explain to a lot of kids at Saturday Academy that their main focus shouldn't be Unit 2 homework. Like literally, they were asking if they can have that open. Like, no. There's 150 assessment points going in the grade books. Make sure you're ready for that test. Like, it's really as simple as that. But yeah, that's tomorrow. So tomorrow, please come with your Chromebook charged. Bring your charger. I mean, you're supposed to do that every day, but especially tomorrow, so you can have that full hour to do your Unit 4 tests. The study guides look just like your notes. That's the only way to get your current 90% of your grade up. The rest, the other 10%, will come from you doing well on your final exam. And the constructive response part, I think, is a really great way to do that. Previous to us having a constructive response part to our final, I would just tell my students, like, assume that the final exam is going to bring your grade down. Like, I would literally tell them that. Not often do kids pass their algebra 1, 2. So I would just tell them, prepare for it to bring your grade down. Make your current grade as high as it possibly can be, so that no matter how you do on your final, it won't affect it. But now that we've started this, having another portion of your final, honestly, I've seen some kids' grades improve. And we also do have like an extra credit opportunity on there. And kids that take advantage of it and at least attempt it tend to do well. Kids that don't tend to not do. So here's how the extra credit would work. You can see on the instructions on the packet you have in front of you, it says you must choose one question from each unit to complete, but the choice is yours. That's the same instructions that will be on your final for this part. You don't have to do the whole packet for your final exam. For your review, I'm going to make you do this whole packet. But for your final, you could just do choice 1, which is on the front for unit 1, or choice 2, which is on the back. Each choice is like a whole page, and it tells you the unit right there. So there's unit 2, choice 1, unit 2, choice 2, and all of that. The way that the extra credit comes in is if you do both choices, that's how you get extra credit. So each choice is worth 10 points. You have to do one from each unit. Should you do all of it and get 100% on all of it, that would give you a 200% on this part of the final. Of course, when we add in the online part and combine that, even if you got 100% on the online part, the most you could get in that final exam category is 150%, and that's if you miss nothing. So realistically, probably not 150%, but it is possible. That's the highest you could get. So if you are playing around with the numbers, for example, say that you have a C and you really want a B. Let's say your grade is a 73% and you really want a B, which would be a 79.45. This person would need to score this high on their final in order to do that. Is that possible? For my class, we just talked about, yeah, it is possible. You could get up to 150% if you miss nothing. So 137% is like missing very little, but like it is possible. Again, this kind of just gives you realistic expectations. Like if this was the person, they should probably get that grade higher in order to better solidify their chances of getting a B, but there is still a chance with just the final. All right, questions on anything I just said? All right. One stipulation about that is you do have to do at least one from each unit. Like on the real final exam day, you have to do one from each unit. If you don't, like if you decide, oh, I really understood units 1, 2, and 3, I'm just not even gonna attempt unit 4, then it'll be a minus 10 points out of your overall score. So you have to do one from each unit, and then you can go back and do more and try to get the extra credit. But that'll be Tuesday. And the thing with finals is like, I don't want to incentivize anybody to like try and rush through it. When you are finished with your finals, you get to just sit there and stare at the wall. You don't get to play games on your computer or anything like that. So no one's incentivized to just like finish early and you have the whole time to do what looks like your review packet, just different numbers on that day. All right, and then later in that week, you guys are third hour, so I'd see you the 19th only instead of Thursday and Friday. I would just see you Thursday, and that's when you'll take your online part of your final. And again, kids don't typically do well on that part. The kids that have A's all semester maybe get like a C on that part. So it's still possible to do well. Like we'll still give you a review for it that's closely aligned to the final, but I'm just being realistic with you from what I've seen. That's why you should do the extra credit that's offered to you when you take your constructed response final. All right. So there's that. Friday we did binder checks for unit 4. You had study guides to do. Hopefully they're done. Right now we have about 20 minutes. You could ask me questions on your study guides, or what I would recommend is you work on that very last page of the packet you just picked up, because that is unit 4, choice 1, and then the very back of it is choice 2. That's similar to what you'll be tested on tomorrow as well, and it's preparing you for finals. Does anyone have questions on anything from their study guides for unit 4, since that's what you're testing for tomorrow? If you do, let me know. Otherwise, like this is your time to work on this if you have nothing else to do. But your study guides from unit 4 are probably more important right now since you're testing for that tomorrow.